No, just talking about how people think we're rich because.
Oh yeah, just all the money that comes in.
That's far from the. And I tell my guys all the time, and my wife is like, oh, we passed 10 million and this and that. It's like, if I'm being honest, it's probably the brokest I've ever been because we're at the highest risk.
Yes.
Yeah, we brought some home, but if we were to sit there and kind of figure out what risk we were at, this shit could go to zero like tomorrow.
Yes.
And I was at like.
Dope. All right, another episode of Adversity Kings. And today we have special guest
Alex Guzman,
and owner of
Landscaping Experts.
And what's your guys' territory? What do you guys cover?
So we're located out of Joliet, Illinois, but we cover anything if it's within 1 hour. So we come here. So it's Wheaton, Glen Ellen, Lombard, Downers. So anything within 1 hour radius we cover.
Yeah. Dope.
Yeah.
Dude. Dope. So, you mentioned before we got the podcast rolling that you got started around 7 or 8 years old. Now, I want to go back before that. Where were you born and raised, and where are your parents from?
So I was born in Mexico. Okay. In Jalisco, and then when I was 2, I think it was about 2 or 3 years old. Yeah. They brought me here, and then I was raised here in the United States. Okay. I was raised in Melrose Park. Okay. Right by Stone Park.
Yeah. Heard a lot about there. So, what mom, dad, who are you closest to growing up?
Definitely dad.
Definitely dad?
Yeah, till this day.
Till this day? Let's go. And then how many siblings do you have?
So I have 2 more brothers and 2 sisters, and I had a brother that died when he was. So I wasn't born yet, so he would have been, I think, 30. I'm 32 now. He would have been 37.
Okay. Wow.
But it's 2, so it's 5 of us.
Yeah. Let's go. And so, what's everybody else do?
My brother, he's out in city, Chicago. He's a general contractor. Okay. He builds anything from a Starbucks, a kitchen, just about anything that has to do with construction.
Okay. What about the other 4? Right.
My other brother, he works for Portillo's. He's in charge of pretty much making sure that these restaurants run. Yeah. So like I'm talking AC units, like salad bar. So pretty much he makes sure that he's got a list of restaurants that his territory. Yeah. He has to make sure that they don't stop for an hour. Dope. Because I think they lose about like 20, 30 grand an hour, when they're not running. Ooh, wow. Then I have a sister. She was a stay-at-home mom for quite a bit, and then she got back into nursing right now. Okay. My other sister, she actually just moved back to Mexico. I just came back from Mexico like probably a week ago. Yeah. I just reconnected back with her after about 12 years. Last time I saw her was 12 years ago, and she pretty much raised me. Okay. Sister. Yeah. So the one that went back to Mexico. Yeah. What part of Mexico? Jalisco? So Jalisco's. Yeah, Jalisco's where she's she's living now, which was where I was born.
Let's go. How close is that to Puerto Vallarta?
If I'm being very honest,
no idea.
I have no idea. Last time I went there was when I was 2 years old, and then just a week ago I was there for about 20 days, and that was it.
Yeah. Spanish still good?
Yeah, fluent. My parents don't speak English.
You got the remote up there? I always call him Clumsy Esteban.
Like, we're about to all get fired, man.
Gotta love it.
But yeah, they like I said, I was there for about 20 days, and definitely my Spanish is definitely.
Could they tell you got Americanized?
Yeah. So if I'm being quite honest, the reason why I went there is to get my green card finally.
Yeah. Oh wow, bro! Congrats.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah. So, let's go, dude.
And it took me about, I think it was like 20 days. I went to Juarez first, which is right by the border. Yeah. That shit was horrible.
For real?
Yeah, you don't want to go there.
Like it was just kind of like.
Well, you'll get robbed, dude.
For real, it was crazy like that.
Yeah.
From from an American perspective, or like the Spanish perspective of like the Spanish, it's just kind of going crazy.
Yeah, just the people that live there. There's not that many.
It's probably like the slums though. Like, do you think it's a moral issue, or like they're just put up back against the wall and they got no choice?
That. You know what I mean? That's what it is. I guess you just put it in better terms. I couldn't figure it out, but it's like there's no there's nothing there for them, dude. It's like nothing. So it's like they see a chance to come up in their eyes and they're like, fuck it, I'm gonna take it. Yeah. So my phone was hacked the first day I got there. You know, I got a lot of footage. I'm hoping we probably will put it together and, you know, tell the whole story. But, you know, even just my first day, my phone was hacked. There's no Apple stores over there, so my brother had to cross the border back, give me another phone. It was like, that was just the beginning of it, man.
So it got like hacked or stolen?
No, I got hacked. These guys are fucking smart, dude. I plugged into the airport, and then so what they do is once you plug in, they take control of your phone, and my shit kept running hot in my pocket, and then I started to notice it. Come to find out, they ended up, you know, what's happening is everything's running on the back end.
Yeah.
So they ended up just it burned out my Bluetooth antenna and my Wi-Fi, and it just fucked the whole phone to where it wouldn't work.
Wow. Did they get anything important?
As of right now, not that I know of.
Let's go.
I mean, once that happened, I shut down the phone, I cleared everything, and then I called my office to keep tabs on all my credit cards and all that. So
yeah.
As of right now, not that I know of. I mean, they're still keeping tabs in my office and making sure everything's good. Got
to keep tabs regardless. You know what I mean? Whether you visit Mexico and get hacked or not. You know what I mean? You just live in a day and time right now where you just got to keep tabs. So you're growing up, 2 years old, you leave Mexico, Jalisco, you get to Melrose Park, closest with dad. But what was mom doing in the picture? So mom, dad, what are they doing in America for work to kind of get everybody off their feet?
Yeah, so even before I was brought here, my dad was already coming here since like the 60s.
Okay.
So he was already just going back and forth, you know, working here, going back. But once we moved here, then my sister, she was I think about 15 at the time, she didn't get to go to school. She had to go to work. So it was my mom, my dad, and then my older sister. I'm telling you that it's in Mexico. They were all working to support all of us. That way, I was able to start kindergarten, and then my other brothers were able to go to high school. They started in high school, and you know, so it was just 3 of them supporting us at the time. And
so now, what was mom and dad doing for work though?
For work?
Yeah.
At the time, my mom was I think she was at it's just just random jobs, like anything we can get a hold of. Like I don't remember the one she stayed at the most was just cleaning hotels.
Yeah.
Dad, he was at I think he was at a factory at the time, and then like just different jobs like on the side and shit like that. But just whatever we get our hands on at that point.
And then how did he establish the landscaping company?
So once we once we were here for I think like 5 years. Then he got hired by a landscaping company, and he kind of went up the ladder. And he didn't really know much about business. He just knew that he didn't want to work for anybody, so he just kind of started doing side jobs, mulch, you know, just small shit that didn't really pay much. And then he just did that until I came in the picture. Then it was me, my mom, my dad working.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, I would take the phone calls. Because remember, he doesn't speak English, so I would take the phone calls, and then it would just be them working. And when I would get out, I would help them out. Sometimes I wouldn't go to school to work. And then as I got in the picture more, you know, obviously I like nice things, and I was more Americanized because I was raised here, so I like nicer things. So I kind of pushed to evolve, and then. Once I finally turned 15, I saw we were like, I would never make it with that money. And then that's when I said, I'm going to go on my own to go look for a job, or, you know, you let me fully take over. We didn't even have a business registered at the point.
Yeah.
At the time, it was just Guzman Landscaping, which is my last name.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, I saw myself where I am today, and it's like, I didn't see Guzman Landscaping. I just didn't see it in the picture. And then I said, let me take over and now just rebrand the business.
And so you're 15, you convinced your dad to rebrand the business. Oh, how did you convince him? Like, was there any rebuttals from him whatsoever? Like, was there any, like, how did you like persuade him to give you his baby that you helped contribute and build to? But, you know, in a sense, as a man, even as your father, there's got to be a certain level of ego, entitlement, and ownership. He built this business up. So to transition that fully into a 15-year-old's, you know, hands, what was that like, that process?
I think that just the main key point there was, like to your point, it was something that me and had built together. And, when I said, I'm going to go on my own, it's like he just kind of didn't have a choice.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So it sucks at the point in time. Obviously, I didn't mean any harm by it, but, at the time I was taking care of everybody. So it's like, listen, like I can go do a sales job. Like I know I was always good at sales. So I said, listen, let me go do sales somewhere else. And then, I'll still take care of you guys.
So were you cutting grass or were you just selling?
I was cutting grass, dude. But but the thing is, at that point in time, I knew for some reason, whatever reason, I knew what I had in me.
Yeah.
At that point in time, I'm not gonna lie to you and say that I did, but I just knew there was something in me more than just cutting grass.
Who or what inspired you to want to get rich? There had to have been some type of experience that you had, or some type of movie, something you had to have seen that kind of like planted this seed inside of you where you wanted to get rich.
I don't know. I think it's just not having it.
Yeah. But was there a friend? You got to see it to know that you don't have it. Like people that live in the jungle don't know about nothing. Yeah. They don't want anything. They live in the jungle.
Yeah, to your point, I didn't live in the jungle. I lived where, United States, where you see everybody.
So you see everything.
Just everybody. It's like, shit, like, I want that, I want a new car. I want a new truck. Like, I wanted all that. And at the time, dude, our revenue, dude, it was shit. It was like, he was making like 20 grand a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you guys were cutting grass for the low then, probably like $10 a yard when you probably first started.
Yeah, I mean that's all he knew, and it's like there was so much more to it, and I'm like, dude, this is not what I want, man. Like I want to get married, I want to do this, I want to do that. Like there's not enough money for nothing.
Yeah.
So at that point in time, I said, let me go on my own. I can make some money, go get a job, go do this, or let me just take over, and I'll prove to you that, I can,
So when did you guys do your first 6-figure year then?
Shit. So it's gonna be fuck. I'm trying to think, because we registered in 2006. So it took me. So the funny thing is, once I took over, we did better, but I didn't get past. I didn't get past 500-600. Not even. They're like 300,000-400,000 for a while.
When did you get past 100,000?
I'm gonna say within like first year.
Yeah?
Yeah, the first year, yeah. I was about 16.
And what was the bottom line?
I feel like it was $1 million.
So, yeah, I feel that, brother. So, like, what was that bottom line revenue, though, after expenses in general?
Well, then we go back to I didn't have any systems or processes in place at the time, so I can't tell you. Yeah. All I know is that I was living a better life, and we saw more of I just saw something.
At least 5x, because you went from 20 grand to 100 grand, and if you kept your portion the same, then you at least got to 5x your portion.
Well, probably even less, because by the time, remember, we were growing heavy at the time, so we kept reinvesting. In equipment, people. So I didn't, even all the way, fast forward all the way to 2000, like I tell people, I didn't make the money I make now for a very long time. I didn't. 2006, I still had my W-2. It was no more than 10 grand.
Yeah.
Before,
now as you cross that $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 mark, you're saying now, was that probably 10 years in? From 2006, or you 2016 once you start crossing that $500,000 mark?
No, the 2016 we were past the million, yeah.
Okay, and that's top line revenue. So before
top end, yeah.
Okay, and how many yards and accounts then are you managing? Once you're 10 years in.
So as I took over, we transitioned into we're a full design and build hardscape company. So I have a design team. So now we actually we don't cut grass at all. I haven't for.
But do you have grass cutters, or do you contract grass cutters?
Nothing. We're a full design and build. So now we just design and build outdoor living spaces. Like, I'm talking custom, like pools with decks, fireplaces, fire bowls, like all the crazy shit you see on Pinterest. That's what we build.
So that way you guys can still. So you're more of a construction company.
Yeah, we're a construction company.
But the title of the company is landscape.
It stayed the same. The branding now so strong is that that when they hear landscaping experts, it's just more. I feel like experts rings more than anything. So it's like that name stayed there, but it's like I said, we have nothing to do with soft skill. We do it all. When we build these projects, we do the landscaping, the hardscape, the lighting, the electrical. but we're essentially, I'm a GC, so, you know, because we do pools, we're talking structures.
So there, you are contracting out then other individuals, professionals, probably people you've built up relationships with. It's like you got a guy that you trust with the pouring the concrete for the pool. You got a guy that you trust for actually excavating and digging and doing the certain requirements that are required for whatever you do.
Fast forward now, we run about 15 of these projects that at a time that range anywhere from 100,000 to $500,000 each.
Yeah.
And we have last year it was up to 15 different companies that work for us.
Yeah.
So we do a lot of subbing out, and I'm actually transitioning to that a lot more, because really what we do more is the sales, managing, and designing.
And then how many employees do you have?
So on the field, when we're running peak season, there's about 70 people in the field.
Yeah.
But remember, a lot of those are not in-house. It's a mixture of subs and
put life insurance on all of them. Make yourself the beneficiary.
I'm gonna have to, man.
Just in case something happens. So 70 in peak season, but what's cool about this is I always think like people that do landscaping in Chicago, I'm like, well, you probably don't need your revenue probably goes down for 6 months of the year if you're just cutting grass in a winterized state. But now that I'm understanding that, you know, you're not cutting grass, you're building and you're constructing, people are doing renovations to their houses internally, externally, year round. You know what I mean? So I can see a lot more consistency in doing that.
So with us, remember, I still don't even get into interior yet.
Oh, okay.
So it's all exterior, and we do shut down. First, we're only shut down for about 3 months, let's say 4 months, and then we transition into snow removal. So I also own a snow removal company, and I've gone into real estate.
Okay.
Pretty heavy here in the last 2 years, so I do that. Like right now, I'm just buying, building a portfolio. So it's kind of
Now, will you still buy even though the mortgage rates are at 8%, or are you just buying cash, small properties for cash?
And if I'm being honest, all of them are cash. I'm probably gonna be pulling a loan for one right now, but I look at it as then again, it's like it's an investment, and the tenant's gonna pay for the interest rate. So no matter what, 5-7 years, property's paid off, and tenant pay for the interest, and you have another asset.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, have you taken into consideration the rate of inflation right now and just the way the economy's kind of trajecting? It like cost of living isn't necessarily equating with the general income that's being generated by the average American. So like unless it's like high level real estate, I don't know. Like, have you thought of that as well? Like, I don't know. Are you buying like just like average blue collar property, or are you looking at like getting like commercial property? I'm just asking out of curiosity.
As of right now, just like small single family homes, because I truly do believe that no matter what,
people always rent.
Yeah, it's like, dude, no matter if anything, the way I've been looking at it, and I said I could be wrong, but it's like if anything, the demand for rents, no matter what level, are going to be higher.
Yeah, and
actually at the lower level, in my opinion, because like you said, it's any house is worth $500,000-$600,000 now. It's a mortgage. We're talking $3,000-$4,000. And if I can give you a house that's similar for $3,000, and then again, the average American doesn't have $30,000-$40,000 saved up for a down
not
payment.
At all.
So if you say, hey, listen, I have a house that's 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, garage for $2,000 a month, and I only need 2 months up front. It's kind of like that, because at some point I feel like middle class is kind of diminishing it. So it's kind of like
completely agree. Yeah, I completely agree. No, I'm curious, just seeing how different people's minds are working when they're getting to the real estate space, just with, election year coming up. The Fed rate is projected to go down a couple times here next year, but ultimately people think inflation is headed to a burst, just with the economy in general. So very intriguing. Now, where do you see yourself for the next 4 or 5 years, just with your company and everything going on?
Definitely. So in the next year or two, I'm really not looking into grow as far as top line. I'm just looking to tighten things up that I see, pretty much squeezing more out of it.
Yeah.
But in like 4 to 5 years, I'm definitely looking to double in size once we have all our systems and processes, in play and tighten up. And then essentially you're just getting heavy into the real estate, because the construction business, it is really, it's risky. And that bottom line is not that, it's not the greatest.
Yeah.
And so it's not something that I'm looking to, to just keep scaling. I'm looking to just squeeze what I can out of that market and then reinvest it into whether it's any other assets. As of right now, what I have knowledge of is just real estate. So just, kind of taking it from there, just seeing where it takes me.
Have you compared yourself to other construction companies that are in a similar niche, or are you pretty exclusive in regard to the niche that you're operating in?
I'm going to say we're pretty exclusive due to the fact of the experience that we deliver, and just the way we run things and the way we treat customers. So I would say we're pretty unique, and that's really what we want to focus on more and more, to the point where we don't. Even now we don't really look at any competitors, and our pricing doesn't compare. We're probably one of the most expensive, so it's. I don't think I really get to even sit down and compare myself with any other guys around us.
So you're probably the biggest dog in your space, then, you're saying right now?
I would say I would say yes, as far as probably not revenue, because we have some companies that are going pretty hard to where there's one company that went public. So there is some, and what's crazy is they just cut grass.
Yeah.
And they went public. But as far as in our nation, what we do, I would consider as one of the top dogs for sure. And that's coming from our suppliers, from our vendors, from all of them. So yeah, I would say we just want to continue honing on that and just continue to separate ourselves more and more to the point where we're Nike in this brand, and in this industry.
Yeah, that's dope. That's fire. Now, what about 5-10 years from now? Do you still want to be in this area? Do you want to move? Do you have other goals, dreams, aspirations, vehicles, houses? Outside of just business and investing, anything personal?
Personal, yeah, I would just, it's, I guess I've never really thought about it that way as far as for myself. I just, because, then again, I have 3 kids. I have twins that are 2 years old, and then I have a 4-year-old. So I guess just all of my goals have really been, and then I also do, support my parents. I retired them when I was 27. So it's kind of I'm always really, my goals are based around them. And then, my wife, kind of as a family. For myself, if I'm being quite honest, I'm happy with. I'm not content with what I have. I definitely want more. But it's when I shoot for a goal, I just always shoot for, I as of right now, I don't really have anything specific. It's more just giving them a better life.
Yeah.
As far as moving, I haven't thought about moving, honestly.
Yeah.
I just I moved not too long ago, but not too far from where I grew up.
Okay. Now, what about? Do you get into any type of podcast, books, or anything like that?
Yeah, I actually what's helped me a lot is I do read a lot of books. I kind of slowed down here in the last year because I got super busy. But in the mornings when I do cardio after I work out, I read books, podcasts. I haven't been listening to too many because when I'm driving, I'm on the phone all the time.
Yeah.
So podcasts, I'm kind of out of date for right now.
Yeah.
Just books is really about it.
What's your favorite book?
I'm gonna say my favorite book is gonna be, which is gonna sound crazy, but it's more of a personal development book from Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
That's really kind of what really made the biggest shift on my end, because I always kept reading business books, but it's I kept slacking on the personal development because I didn't think that mattered. And once I read that book, it just changed my whole perspective of how I operated within myself, and it just changed everything. That's really the year when I went from, to still cutting grass with my dad to tripling in size, retiring him. I retired him, my mom, my wife. I pulled myself out of the field. That's just really when I made the biggest shift when I read that book. Yeah,
personal development's key. That's probably the biggest thing that I harp on for our business. And try to lead by example is just self-development, pouring into yourself, investing into yourself. There's something I shared with everybody the other day is you treat yourself and invest into yourself in correspondence with how you view and value yourself. So if you don't view yourself as worthy of $1 million investment, you're not going to invest the time, energy, resources, and money at that level. The level that you invest into yourself is the level that you see yourself at. If you see yourself as a low-level person, that's how you'll carry yourself, you'll speak, you'll move, you'll operate, your urgency. It all corresponds with how you value yourself. People that are slow, lazy, lack discipline, they don't want to read, they don't want to pour into themselves, they don't want to carry themselves at a very high level. It's not an issue of, they'll typically say, well, I have ADHD and, I have a lack of vision. It's that's not the issue. The issue truly is the only vision issue that you have is a lack of vision in regard to yourself and your future and where you could go, your projection. And you just project out what you want, and most people project out a low-level life, so they have low-level habits, and they just continue to create.
Going,
exactly, it's just an endless cycle of just weakness and mediocrity. You know, so I don't even chase it anymore. You know, I spent my first couple years of leadership of trying to just chase people and force them into being something that there was like, God couldn't even do it. You know what I mean? God made him this way for a reason. It's like he tried, gave you this opportunity. You're in the greatest country in the world. You have freedom. Most individuals have their five senses and ability to walk, talk, smell, see, and it's like you can't figure out how to get rich in this country.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy.
The easiest country to get rich in.
Oh, trust me, I believe you. That's the thing. Like, things I talk about is, you know, like when I growing up, like I couldn't even drive.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't have a license to drive until a few years ago.
Yeah.
So like, you know, it's like to your point, it's like, man, that's kind of really why I think that was the biggest motivator until this day is. You know, it's like you have, like you said, this country's had, you know, so much opportunity. If you can drive, you have credit. Like, I didn't have credit until a few years ago.
Yeah.
You know, you have credit, you can drive, you get all these opportunities. Like, there's no reason why you should, other than you're lazy.
Yeah.
And you don't care. You know, it's like, it got to a point where I kept getting locked up so many times. My dad did. We had to hire somebody to drive us for a year.
Yeah.
You know, and we were cutting grass at the time, so we probably didn't make any money.
Yeah.
So it's like, man, by the time I said, if one day I get to have my license, like it's fucking over.
Yeah.
And it's like, it sounds so simple, but you see somebody driving, it's like, man, you have the privilege to drive. Like you don't even understand.
Yeah.
Like some of us couldn't even drive to work.
Yeah, man, it's insane.
It's crazy.
It's insane. It puts it in perspective. I saw somebody commented, it was years ago, I was at this networking event for, what was it? Like angel investors and different investors into just an investing community for tech. And one of the individuals had commented on social media in regard to one of the Hispanic CEOs and told him like, it was racist. He was like, you need to just go back to your country or something like that. And then somebody commented back and was like, how'd you let him come to your country, America, where you had a head start and beat you at your own game? Yeah. You know, and it's like, I really sat there and it really resonated with me because it's like, you know, when it comes to individuals that have this perspective of just victimhood mentality of like, man, my life's horrible. And it's like, for the simple fact you were born in the United States of America, you have absolutely zero excuse. And for you to blame anybody else other than yourself, regardless of, you know, their nationality, their heritage, you know, everybody is not truly entitled to any country per se. We're so far into human history and national evolution where it's like no one's a true, like, what is a true American? A Native American?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's get deep
like,
into that.
Yeah, if you really get deep into it, it's like it's not really anybody's nation. We came here and took this nation.
It was Mexico before.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, yeah, absolutely. Mexico was all the way up. I've been studying the presidents. Mexico was all of the South essentially. Mexico had California, Texas. All of the South was Mexico, and America forced them with. Yeah,
and that's the thing. That's the problem. Mexico it's corrupt, dude, and that's why we are where we're at. It's just
divided houses fall, man.
It's crazy. It's like they screw us over there. So that's just like I said. But it's just. I mean, but then again, we can't be victims about it. Just kind of try hard, and that's it.
And it's so motivating and inspiring. Just anybody that's if you have an ounce of dog within you, an ounce of will within you, an ounce of just determination within you, you will run circles around the average individual in the world right now, especially the westernized individual. The American right now, it is 1 out of 10 of Americans become millionaires right now. So $1 million is not as valuable as what it was 20, 30, 40 years ago. It's probably truly worth about $500,000 right now.
Yeah,
you make $1 million, it's probably worth about 400, 500,000. You need to make a couple.
250 is the 100.
Exactly. You need to make a couple mil to really like feel the power of a mill. An ounce inside of you of vision, determination, and integrity and character, you will destroy and take the souls of whoever, whatever they are that has nothing within them except just this spine of weakness, mediocrity, and no ability to push themselves. You know what I mean? Like I've got these individuals that I've been helping out, and essentially just for their own protection, but their cousin works at my partner's office in Pittsburgh, and they're from Venezuela. So I think they just came over. You know what I mean, basically. Yeah. And bro, these guys they'll kill, dude. Work, dude. Like work. Like if I could get them to just speak a little English and get a phone.
AI, man, we gotta,
bro, like
we gotta get some AI in them,
bro. They would make $1 million, bro. Like I just told them they can come up and take the trash out for a couple $100 a week right now. That's all I can do. We don't have labor that needs to get done. We just sell insurance. Bro, I come up and dude will be scrubbing the barber chair with a rag, and I'm like, bro, we just need to take the trash out. I feel bad. Like the detail orientation, the hunger, the patience, the kindness, like. You know, I think a lot of, there's bad people in any group of people, but I think a lot of people get mislabeled of like, don't let anybody over because, you know, they're gonna kill and destroy and murder. And it's like, brother, a couple generations ago, that would have been us. You know what I mean? Like I was studying James Buchanan this morning. He was the 15th president. There was a massive influx in American population. They let over 25% of the United States of America's population increased in, I believe, 1856 or 1857. They were immigrants. Yeah. Immigrants, guess where? Not Mexico, European immigrants. What's the difference? They're immigrants. They're coming from another nation. We opened the borders. 25%. Do you know what 25% of our population will be right now? Be 100 million people. Yeah. We got close to 400 million people in America right now. So that'd be like us letting 100 million people in right now.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? So I think people forget to study history. History repeats itself.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I believe
history repeats itself. So it's like, and what happened is when they brought in the immigrants, they just paid them less. So like the economy and the market, it performed very well because now the North industrialized. We took the Irish, the Europeans, and we paid them half of what we were paying the Americans. They worked twice as hard.
Why do you think? Yeah,
we doubled our market.
Exactly. People were like, "Oh, you don't build, just don't outsource anything, build everything in America." I'm like, dude, we can't afford ourselves.
No.
This fucking mic would be $10,000.
Yeah, no.
I said the way we want to make money here in America, like, dude, we can't afford ourselves.
Yeah.
I said, let them keep outsourcing to China, to whatever you guys have to do, because if we were to just truly build everything here in America, we wouldn't be able to afford ourselves. Like, there's no way a burger would be $5,000. Like, that's what people understand. It's like, like we have it good here.
More than good.
We have it more than good. And it just, like I said, I was in Mexico for 20 days.
People should go to Mexico for 20 days. Just go like, even a vacation in Mexico for 20 days.
5 days, it humbled me, man. And I'm telling you, and it comes from a place of, me being like Hispanic and then going through everything. And I thought it humbled me within like 3 days of being there. And I'm like, holy shit, dude. Like, that's why I came back, 2 days in, I bought more real estate. I just came back more hungry because I'm like, dude.
Oh my God, yeah, I have to.
I thought I went through some shit. It's like, at least I have the opportunity to go out there and get more.
Yeah.
At least I have the opportunity to work around the clock and get more.
Yeah.
And out there, dude, you can work around the clock. Like, you're not making more than, and I'm talking to somebody that's got a decent job, you're not making more than $120 a week.
Yeah, no.
And things cost about the same as here.
Yeah. It's insane.
So it's like, dude, I'm like, and I went there, and at the time, I didn't know if I was, I was pre-approved, but I had to have a letter to be able to cross back. And I'm just thinking, like, fuck, if I stay here, like, dude, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be so grateful when I get back. Like, dude, just there's no heater, dude. I had to sleep with shorts, sweatpants, and 2 fucking big ass, they call them cobertores over there, big ass fucking, blankets.
Yeah.
There's no hot water.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, damn, dude, coming back, I'm like, fuck, I got a heater, I got hot water, and I'm like, all these commodities that we don't really even think about anymore. I'm like, it's like,
until you really experience like nothingness, true absence of like life's like absolute like necessities and essentials, food, water, like temperature regulation, like you really don't understand how good you have it. I just did a month ago, I did like a 5-day water fast. I only had water for 5 days.
And I've done it for 3 days for bodybuilding shows.
Yeah, bro.
That's death, man.
Yeah, I went 5 days.
You made it 5 days?
Yeah, 110 hours, bro. And I'm telling you, like, it made me just perceive life on, anytime I'm going through something hard now, I'm so glad that I completed it, because I just say like, bro, shut up. You went 5 days without eating. Like, it's not that bad. You know what I mean? Like, just shut up.
You get to eat today.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's not that bad. Like, shut up. And when I was 16, I went on a missions trip to Lima, Peru. and we went up to like the mountains, and like people lived in the mountains, like just mud huts, and like everybody was happy. You know what I mean? Like these were the happiest people in the world.
That's what's crazy about it, yeah.
And they have nothing. You know what I mean? Like there's no medical. There's no running water. There's no temperature. Nothing. There's just dogs everywhere and mud. You know what I mean? Like there's just dirt and mud and dogs, and everybody lives in one dirt hut.
That's it.
Crazy, bro. And people are happy. You know what I mean? Just happy. And there's no place for trash to go. You just have like trash mounds.
That's it.
You know what I mean? Crazy, bro.
And there's no opportunity over there. Like, you know, it's just here, dude. It's like, especially with everything, how everything's evolved. Like as far as like social, anybody has opportunity. Dude, if you can walk, talk, like, dude, it's the opportunity is insane.
Money's stupid here. It just flows. You know, the U.S. Treasury was quoted saying, you know, very recently or just in the last decade, like, we can just print more. You know what I mean? And obviously we're experiencing, you know, massive inflation right now, but you know, we just print more. There's absolutely like zero value to our dollar, in my opinion. But still, you know, my friend just went to South Africa and had 5-star dinners every night, and it was like $50. Like, there is no country out there right now like the United States of America. Like, we are still in a phenomenal position despite the chaos we've caused and we've created over the last decade or so. So we're still number one.
Yeah, because I feel like I said, there's massive opportunity here no matter what. You know, because it's like, even to beat inflation, there's so many different ways to, you know, like use debt, you know, to fight that inflation. There's so many different games to be played here that, like, that's kind of how I look at life now, and even business in general. You know, just like as far as inflation, like that's why I'm putting my money into real estate. Even if I don't make my money back, I'm beating inflation. There's so many tricks that you know, it's like we're not the only ones playing this game. There's people at a way higher level than us, and it's like there's a way. Yeah, you just got to keep watching. Just at the same time, it's like, you know, for me, I wake up as long as I have my family. You know, like my kids, everything's fine. It's like I look around and say, man, we're good, dude. It's like nothing is just rainbows and sunshines all the time. Like, you know, running at this scale, I'm sure you know the drill. It's like, dude, some days you feel like everything's about to collapse, but I get to look around and say, dude, at the end of the day, like the trucks, the cars, you know, who gives a shit? Like, as long as my kid, I look at my kids and my wife,
breath in your lungs, kids are there, kids are alive, everybody healthy.
Yeah, that's it.
Another opportunity to go take a crack at it another day, to go make some more, go do more, go impact more.
Try it again.
Yeah, give it another shot, man.
That's it, man. It's just what it is. So it's crazy.
Fire. Is there? I always ask everybody, do you have a favorite movie?
Oh man, I didn't get to watch TV, man. Like, I don't have a favorite movie, to be honest. That's what's crazy. I tell Stanley sometimes in the office, he's like, oh, what about cartoons? I'm like, dude, my dad was working me since I was like 7, 8. Yeah. I didn't get to watch any movies. I didn't get to really fucking watch I didn't get none of that. Yeah. Like,
so do you have any hobbies now, or are you just nothing?
Yeah, what I do, obviously, I got into bodybuilding. I did 3 bodybuilding shows. Okay. And then once the business started getting heavier, then I ended up quitting that, and I ended up getting a divorce during that time. But right now, really, what I do on a daily basis is work out, and then I'll be in an office working, and then other than that, it's just my family, my kids. I spend a lot of time with my kids.
They gotta watch cartoons now.
Yeah, oh yeah, they do. They watch a lot of cartoons, man. Yeah. They're living the life. So really, they're living the life that you know, that I didn't live. I mean, I didn't live a bad life. You know, I didn't struggle for food. My dad provided like hell. Yeah. It's just.
Well, let me ask you that then. What's your favorite food?
Favorite food
or favorite restaurant?
I'm gonna say American food, just like burgers, pizza. I'm gonna say pizza is my favorite.
You got a go-to place?
Actually, I don't, man. I'm not very picky at all.
Yeah. It's all good.
I eat anything.
I'm the same way. Yeah.
I'm grateful just to have food.
Yeah, brother. You grew up on food stamps. I grew up on food stamps. I'm not picky.
We didn't get there, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you can't.
We can't.
Yeah. So there's
Yeah.
levels.
No, dude, there's levels. You were a level higher than me.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't even realize. I was like,
food stamps a come up, man.
Yeah. You need. I guess you need some registration to get.
You need Social Security for food stamps,
I didn't even think of that. That's fire.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I said, and that's really what really drives me the most is, I think people ask me like, why do I still go so hard? And it's like, man, I think fear is my biggest motivator.
Yeah.
My biggest fear is to go back to that.
Yeah.
And I think instead of just, because it gets to a point where that I'm sure you can relate. It's like money only does so much for you. And it's like you can only spend so much. Because I'm also another expensive hobbies for me is trucks. I spend a lot of fucking money on truck parts. But then again, it's like I'll spend 150 on a truck, 200, and it's like I get over in a week.
Yeah.
So it goes back to it's more of like that fear that drives me not to go back to that. I keep trying to climb up the ladder because I guess subconsciously I feel like the further I am, the further I get away from where I was at. But that's just really what drives me, just fear, man.
Yeah.
Fear going back.
Yeah, man. I can relate to that a lot. Dope. Anything else you want to add?
Well, I guess I asked you too. Like, what's your biggest motivator right now to keep scaling?
Yeah, I would agree, man.
Moving?
I reflect a lot on how I grew up. Both my parents were in jail. It was not as bad, as some of these individuals have it, as immigrating to this nation and having to wait for Social Security and registration and different things like that. We always found a way. My mom got out first and really just had the lighter side of things and took care of me and my sister for most of our lives and worked 2-3 jobs. And I think about all the sleepless nights, on her end and all of our ends, and just working from a young age, hustling from a young age, just trying to make ends meet and trying to contribute and wanting to be rich and having rich friends and seeing rich people, like before my parents went away, like I was on a private wrestling team. I was on a private jet at 6-7 years old. So it was like rich.
You had those.
Yeah, I was feeling it, tasting it, seeing it, to like extreme poverty overnight. Both my parents, gone for periods of time. My dad basically gone since I was, 7-8 years old, really. And I feel like my memories don't start until I was like 7 or 8, So I feel like in my mind, it's like I don't really only know him like a year, you know what I mean, year and a half. So I'd say that what probably motivates me the most, and thinking about going back to that and just being pissed off for more. I see these people, billionaires and these world dominant players. Millions don't impress me. You know what I mean? I've been doing 7 figures since 22, 23, and that's just top line. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But still, like, it doesn't, like, soon as I made it, I realized, like, I got to make a lot more to, like, start holding on to some millions. You know what I mean?
Like, people understand.
So it's like, it ain't
it's
not
heavy
like,
at the top.
It's almost like annoying to see it, like, on the 1099 to, like, and, like, not be able, like, I feel like I kept more making less. And and so, like, for me, bro, I just get pissed, like, thinking to myself, like, there's no way these guys are working harder than me, smarter than me. Like, there's no way they're willing to sacrifice more than me. So I think this personal thing with inside of me just burns inside of me, of this passion to want to develop and impact as many lives as possible and be the greatest. Like, I'm really obsessed with, like, war heroes, Greek mythology war heroes, Achilles. Like, my bulldog's name was Achilles. Troy's one of my favorite movies. Like, Hercules, any of that stuff. Like, I love the idea of legacy and, like, just pure war. And I feel like I can implement that war mentality into myself through going to war in both my mind every single day, of becoming a better man, mentally, physically, spiritually, overcoming that weakness that's inside of all of us. Yep. It's just cancer through all of our bones telling us, wake up later, do less calls, do less reps, read less, don't do this, just this shortcut demon that lives in your brain telling you to take shortcuts. And I try to kill that sucker every day, just choke the hell out of it and get it out of my brain. And if I don't become a billionaire and I don't become the world's most dominant man ever, then at least, I led a good life of example of, you can control your mind and defeat that weakness and make the best of this opportunity and give my mom the best life possible. So I try to reverse all the positive things of, like, everybody's like, I want to give my mom a mansion. I'm like, I just want to make sure my mom ain't broke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and it's not like a minimum. It's more of a maximum mindset of, like, there's no way in hell I'm letting my mom, my sister, like, my sister don't have to work. My mom works at, like, a call center, but, like, I think I gave her a good amount of money this last year where she wouldn't have to work. Sister, she even told me, we just had lunch. She's like, yeah, I basically don't have to work anymore. You know what I mean? She just cooks for me. And, that feeling is great, but I want to do so much more. And I piss myself off that like I can't fly them around in a private jet, and not that that's like you said, like that's not everything, but like I want to see if I can get there.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Like people, and you say that too. Like people always say, oh well, that, cars are not everything, the private jet's not everything. Like it's not, but I just
usually
like,
broke people saying that.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it, but it's just and when I say broke, it's like more of it. Like to your point, I think you said this earlier. Like it's a mentality.
Yeah, 100%.
Broke is not even about money because, as it's a mentality. It's like you even start talking about things like that, and the most people, like the people that are the most broke mentally, they say, hey, you got to be humble. Like, oh, dude, like, what do you mean? You can't even talk. No, you just stay humble. Remember
it's
where
always
you came
broke
from.
people that
It's
don't talk about money,
man. The cars are not everything. It's like, at the end of the day, like, let's not bullshit around. Like, money fixes just about everything.
Money does fix everything.
Just about everything. Because it's like, even if you're in a bad situation, like, let's say, to your point, my mom is in a bad, like, is sick, just for something simple, dude. Like, we don't have insurance. Like, you can take her to the doc, one of the best doctors. Like, what does it take? Money. It's like, at the end of the day, like, money will fix 99% of the things wrong with your life.
Yeah.
So it's like, stop bullshitting around and stop trying to make it seem like money's evil. Like, it's not. You guys need some of it. I mean, we all need some of it.
Yeah,
we
a lot
all
more
do.
Of it. Yeah, absolutely.
We need more of it. Because it's like, dude, a lot of the fights, and I remember this because I was broke not too long ago. And obviously, we're not rich, but I was at the point where fucking pumping gas, $5, pumping like $5 was a big deal.
Yeah.
Not too long ago, man. And it's like, everything was a fucking problem.
Yep.
It's like, going out to eat was a fucking problem. Oh, you want to go out to eat again? It's like, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I think a lot of people don't realize that there's stages in business as well where there's just volatility in business where I always reference, to individuals when they get into entrepreneurship and they come into sales. We always recruit people off the ideology of you're coming into sales to make millions of dollars. You're gonna be an entrepreneur. You're getting a 1099 contract. You're 100% commission. You can make as much as possible, but people always forget the second line. Like you can make a little as possible as well. Exactly. You ain't gonna eat. You don't sell. You don't eat. Yeah, exactly. And so like, and even as a business owner and even running a big sales team, it's like there's gonna be times where it's like there's a bunch of money coming in. But there's so much going out that you were broker technically. Like you're. I always tell people like I'm 1099 rich, brother. Like there's so much money that goes out, dude. That I'm like, sometimes even now I'm like, I don't know, bro. I don't know how. I don't know, and I just keep going to work, showing up, trying to make plays, and like sometimes I'll be sitting on a bunch of money, and sometimes I'll just be like, fingers crossed, like. Try this one. People. I'll take people out to eat. I'll take people out to eat, and they'll be like,
"I just got right now from Amex, man."
Yeah, bro. I'll take people out to eat, and they'll be like, "Thank you." I'll be like, "Don't thank me yet, dog. We gonna see." You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, man. See, that's like
I don't know,
and that's a big reason why I wanted. This year's my biggest goal is to connect with other people like you. For that reason, even if they're in the same industry, because it's just most days I'm fighting that voice you just talked about. Dude, it's like, fuck, am I doing this right? It's like, fuck, should I just kind of like lay low and not risk and just be cool and not make it? But I'm like, no. And it's like, and then it's like, dude, I don't really have anybody to talk to that can tell me like, no, dog, like I didn't know my car was gonna get denied yesterday.
Bro,
like,
I spent 2-3 nights in Vegas with Bob Menery, and I don't know if you know who that is.
I'm be honest, I don't.
But he's from like the Nelk Boys, and is like, he's like a degenerate gambler, sweet ass dude. Like he's a. I
think I saw some.
He's got a huge heart, but bro, he gave me perspective on like we're all gamblers. Just some of us gamble in casinos. Some of us gamble on businesses, and some of us gamble our lives away, selling our souls to the 9-to-5s.
Yep.
And so the gamblers in casinos will go in there. Like we went in there and dropped a couple bands on slot machine, and like we got nothing. I hit a jackpot, lost it all. He's like, put it all back, lost. You know what I mean? And I was like,
we don't need that money.
Yeah, he's like, put it back. And he's just like, go get more. And I'm like, yeah, I'm getting more. I'm hanging out with a celebrity. Like, absolutely. And I'm like, oh, God. I'm like texting the team, y'all better start selling more idiots.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean?
Man. Deposit more to my account, man.
Yeah,
I'll pay you back when I get
crazy. But then I'm like thinking to myself, like I'm putting this money into a slot machine and crossing my fingers that something comes out. Where it's like, I can take this $100, buy 2-3 more books, and guarantee a return on investment. I could take this $100, call up my sales team and tell everybody top producer today gets $100, which will guarantee me a 10 to 15% return. I get about 10 to 15% profit like off the business. So it's like, I know I'm going to guarantee, like, why am I gambling? And there's, I was just almost finished up Dan Bilzerian's book.
No, just talking about how people think we're rich because.
Oh, yeah. Just all the money that comes in.
That's far from and I tell my guys all the time, and my wife is like, oh, we passed 10 million and this and that. It's like, if I'm being honest, this is probably the brokest I've ever been because we're at the highest risk.
Yes.
Yeah, we brought some home, but if we were to, sit there and kind of figure out what risk we were at, this shit could go to zero like tomorrow. Yes. When I was at like 500,000 top end, like I didn't have much to lose. Like it was a couple $100 mistakes. Like now, we had a mistake before I left to Mexico. I wrote some checks for mistakes that were like 50,000.
Yes.
That's a big fucking
I know exactly
hit,
what you're talking about. I know exactly
and it's
what
like
you're
then you got people after even like simple as like we had some bad experiences with content guys like because once you're at the top you're like, man, this dude got money.
Yeah.
We have people like subcontractors like, man, this guy got money. Like, and next thing you know, they're just steady just fucking you for money. And it's like, dude, little do they know, like I'm scrambling around like, dude, like I'm paying with this Amex, I'm paying with that Amex, I'm paying with this card, and it's like you said, just some days crossing fingers, some days just like, damn, I got $1 million sitting there, fuck yeah, and then it's like 2 days later, it's like, damn, I got 700, I got 600, I got 200, I got 500. I was like, oh fuck.
Yes. Who is it? How's it going? No, it's almost done. Okay. Yeah, so these are my dogs. That's Achilles and Rufus. But completely agree with you, man. And it's like, especially like those winter seasons and things like that. I don't know what it is, but like the cold hits, and I feel like I don't care what industry you're in. I think there's just fluctuation. There's just volatility. I don't know when it's going to happen, but there's volatility. You're on a hot streak. You might be on a hot streak on the scoreboard, on the financial reports, but in the bank, you on a cold streak. But then you might be on a cold streak on the reports, and people think you broke, but you really up. And those are the best times because nobody asks you for money.
Yeah,
you think I'm broke, but like I'm up right
cash
now.
Flow, yeah,
you know what I mean? That cash flow is coming and it's streaming. Yep. So I like all of that, and I think the point I was trying to make with the gambling was like, gamble on yourself, go all in on yourself, go all in on sales and business and entrepreneurship. And shout out to the guys that can make money off the gambling. Like I was finished up Dan Bilzerian's.
That's the shit we should be in.
Yeah,
man.
I was gonna say I'm finishing up Dan Bilzerian's book, The Setup. It's a phenomenal book, and dude's definitely made 30 million plus just through poker. I think and in a short amount of time. And so it's like but he's lost millions too. So it's like I don't know what his like net profit is, but. That leverage of like, you're talking about a skill set you develop, maybe over the years to generate like just pure cash flow with like minimal expense. You're tipping, the dealer, and then maybe, whatever trips or whatever that are associated with it. But it's like, dude, if you can, the best gamble is on yourself. The S&P me or the SME 500, I think, I've heard people call it, where it's like, go all in on yourself, invest in your business. It's a guaranteed, like you can start to calculate out like what you're going to get off of it. I know for a fact, like I can't lose off this business. This is the best slot machine ever. It's like my business is the best slot machine. I'm the best slot machine. It's going to come back.
It will, yeah.
So
I remember, saying bet on yourself. I remember when, it's crazy you say that because it makes me think back of when I felt like I made that next jump is when, we were doing more revenue, we were doing this, but I think it was like so I was 27, so I'm 32 now. So when I was about 26, I was still in the field, working 15 hours, and I was making better money, but I was still in the field like 15 hours a day.
Yeah. So the leverage time.
Yeah.
The time that you were getting.
Yeah. I got to a point where I was going to have my first son, my first kid, and I got to thinking like, man, I really don't have much time to give him or much money. So it's kind of like, damn, something has to change here. And that's when I, to your point, I took the biggest gamble on myself, and I talked to my dad and said, listen, dude, like, I'll tell you what, I wanted to get to that next level of business. I said, you know what, let's take a gamble. And I said, let's cut our salary for a whole nother year. Things were good. We had a decent salary. We're, at least at that time, I was like, I'm like, you know, I need that next jump. I said, let's take a gamble on ourselves. Let's cut our salary for a whole nother year. I have money to survive for a whole nother year. And at the time, you know, my wife was still working. She was making decent money. So I'm like, you know what? Let's gamble on ourselves, cut our salary. Let's hire some more people. Let me make that next jump.
Yes.
Fast forward, dude. Obviously, it was scary going in. But I said, you know what? To your point, it's like, listen, man, like, if I try and I fail, I was happy with it. And even to this day, whatever I try and I fail, and if, like you said, if we don't make it to the top, dude, I'm okay.
Amen.
I'm cool. Like, I'm cool with it.
Amen.
But it's like, I can't live with the fact that I could have tried and I didn't try. And then it's like, if. I can't live with if. Like, I'd rather just fail. Like, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
So at the time, I said, you know what? Let's do it. So we ended up doing it. And fast forward, we hired our first guy, which he's still with us to this day. He's our project manager, one of our project managers. And I mean, I was, you know, he was at the time putting 2 kids through college. So he was kind of iffy. And I'm like, look, dude, I have your salary in my bank account. I'm giving you my salary secured. If I don't have enough work, you're still going to get paid. And it doesn't work out, you go back to your job.
Yeah.
He took a chance on me. And, you know, fast forward now, he put his 2 kids through college. And then, you know, a year later, I retired my mom, my dad. And then that following year, I retired my wife.
That's fire.
And then at the same time, I pulled myself out of the field. I haven't been out in the field in like 4 years.
Yeah. That's fire.
So it's like, through that gamble, like you said, that one gamble that I took on myself, it just, and then after that, just fast forward, and now we're not just talking about those. Like, now we have 10 to 15 people 10 to 15 companies that work for us.
Yeah.
So it's like, think about how many lives we've changed just by that one gamble I took on myself.
Yes, sir.
So it's very true, you know, that gamble on yourself is just, it's the best one.
That is.
There's no going wrong with that.
Let's go. All right. Well, this is another episode of Adversity Kings. We appreciate you. And if people can find you on social media?
Yes, sir. Yeah. So I have the business page is going to be Landscaping Experts. We have Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And then I also have a personal page, which is Alex Guzman Official.
Alex Guzman, everybody. Peace out. We'll see you guys.